All right, Shalom, Yasharahla. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Akakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great wisdom, peace and salutation to you, Akim, for just pushing this truth in love and sincerity and in charity with all humility. Okay, this is the brother Yashawan from the GMS Farmers Camp Park again with another brief lesson. Okay, another Monday Night Live. All right. The name of this lesson is entitled A Slothful Man Cannot Be a Man of God. All right. A slothful man cannot be a man of God. All right. I'm not talking about a man who does his videos, who does the works, but who doesn't do it. Let's say a man who he does his videos or his lessons or his works within the week. Okay, let's say we put up maybe one video this week, one video next week. All right, one or two videos this week and one or two videos the next week or whatever. Okay, just talking about them. All right, for each man under Romans chapter 2, okay, Romans chapter 12, of giving a measure of faith. Okay, so when I'm talking about the slothful man, the lazy man, the man who put no weights, okay, the man who has his arms folded, all right, the man who has his arms folded, okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and go in and look up this word slothful from the Merriam Dictionary. Okay. So yeah, man, this word slothful, right? It means to sloth, right? Indolent. Okay. Uh, just one of the synonyms is idle, indolent, lazy, shiftless. Okay, shiftless. Now we can look up this word shiftless, right? They say lacking resourcefulness, insufficient. Okay, they say lacking ambition or incentives, lazy. All right. So, so as we see, this person is lazy. Okay, is idle and have no ambition, no desire to achieve something. Okay, no desire to be elevated from one level even onto the other. Okay, no intention or no purpose, right? But just to be lazy. Okay, we don't need to be like this person or this character, right? This is why we must be diligent and continue to be. Okay, the first precept we can get out the Second Peter chapter 3. All right, Second Peter chapter 3, verse 13 and 14. Okay, it says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Okay, the lazy man, he looking for that, but he don't want to wait for it. Wherefore, beloved, saying that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. Okay, so being diligent. All right. Okay, so every effort is what we're gonna make. Okay, now let me just get this same voice in a different translation. Okay, yes, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 14, right? Verse 14 in the NLT. Okay, say, and so, dear friends, while you are waiting on these things to happen, make every effort to be found living peacefully, living peaceful lives that are pure and blameless in His sight. Okay, so we're gonna make every effort, right? So just do what this character is gonna try, isn't gonna try, Salak. Why? Because he is a sloth. Okay, he's lazy. All right, and we know sloth moves very slow. Okay, like I said, they are lazy. All right, let's get that same voice in the ERV version, 2 Peter 3 and 14. They say, dear friends, we are waiting for this to happen. So try as hard as you can to be without sin and without fault. Try to be at peace with the Most High. You see that? We know a slothful person, they ain't gonna try because why? They're lazy. Right? So do you think he will try? Right? If he getting up late every day? Do you think he will try if he being late for whatever time? For where we have to go? Right? Will he try if his mind is not there? But the diligent will make every effort to be found by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? Let's get the same 2 Peter 3 and 14 uh, in the AMPC version. You see, so beloved, right? So beloved, since you are expecting these things, be eager to be found by him at his coming without spot or blemish and at peace in, in serene confidence, free, right, from fierce and agitating passion and moral conflicts. Okay, all right. So the thing is, right, the thing is that they are not confident. A lazy, slothful man, they are not confident. They have no hope. No, not even in themselves. They are not confident, right? The ants have more confidence than them. All right. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6. All right. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. He said, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Right? Consider means to take into account. Right? Consider means to take into account. Ways means direction, journey, manner, habit, character. Right? They say, go to the ant, thou sluggard. consider, take into account, right? Take into account her ways, her directions, her journey, her manner, her habit, and her characters, right? We say, I want to say, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, which having no ruler, which having no commander, which having no leader. And this is the ant now, right? Verse 8. Provided her meat in the summer and gathered her food in the harvest. She brings in her provisions in the harvest, right? Or food in the winter, right? So how would he do this if he always sleeping? Shalom, shalom, malak, Yahweh, right? How would he do this if he always sleeping? Okay, and hands always closed and folded. The scriptures say, "Go to the hand," right? Thou sluggard, thou slothful, thou lazy. Okay, verse 9 and 10 say, "How long will thou sleep, O sluggard? When thou wilt rise out of thy sleep, when wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep." Right? So, and guess what this is? Laziness. And one who will not learn self-discipline. And this is how, right, they lose everything and their salvation. Because why? They always sleeping. They always slow to do things. Okay? You messing with your salvation. Like the New Talk saying, that's only your salvation. Mess with it. Verse 11, Proverbs 6 and 11. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. Right? Let's get this in the CEV version. Right? Proverbs 6 and 11. We get it in the CEV version. Right? It says, suddenly everything is gone as though it had been taken by an armed robber. So when you move slow to do things, everything will be, eventually it will be taken. Just like with the parable with the talents. Remember the one, what he did with his talent? He take it and he bury it. That's a form of you ain't moving at all. Okay? So this is why as leaders, okay, our leaders encourage those that are under us to put in work and not to be lazy. Okay? To do their due diligence for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to save their souls and their families. Right? So if you put in, right? If you put all from day to day, right? Then you become less and less until everything be taken away. Okay? Let's pull that back, verse 11 in the CEV again, in the ERV, so they say, but then you sleep and become poorer and poorer. Soon you will have nothing. It will be as if a thief came and stole everything you own. Right? So the Lord said to him that have will be taken, right? Sweet Lord said to him that have will be taken. So when you slunk, as we say over here in the Bahamas, slunkers get slunkers pay. Let's go to Matthew 13, Matthew chapter 13, verse 12. All right. It says, for whosoever had, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever had not, from him shall be taken away, even that he had. All right. So this ain't, all right, nothing to play with. Your salvation ain't nothing to play with. Okay? Don't play with your salvation. All right? So laziness leads to sudden and sure poverty. Okay? Like we say, slunkers get slunkers pay. Okay? You ain't gonna put in the time for the Lord, then what the Lord gonna do? He's gonna take what you have and give it to somebody else. Okay? A dark posted here. Sirach 43 and 30. When he glorified the Lord, right? When you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can. For even yet will he far exceed, and when he exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough. Okay? You can never go far enough. All right? So stop being slothful, stop being lazy. Because every time when you be lazy, that's more time being taken away. That's more being taken away from you. Everything that you thought you know, the less time you put in, and you keep on going down and down and down, that they're showing that the Lord is removing his spirit from you. The next thing you know, you think that the Lord is still dealing with you. All right? Okay? Like I said, all right, this ain't nothing to play with. Okay, your salvation ain't nothing to play with. Okay, because laziness leads to sudden and pure poverty. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 and 30. Okay. Proverbs 24 and 30. They say, I went by the field of the slothful, you see that? And by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. All right. I went by the field of the slothful, the lazy, and by the vineyard of the man of void of understanding. Keep in mind now, verse 31. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles, had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. It was what? Unkept. Right? You stop work. Okay, and took your hands off the plow. Okay, you become lazy. You become slothful. You get in your feelings, and then you stop work. Okay, and a lot of this has happened when you get rebuked. And I ain't doing no video. I feel like doing no video. I feel like reading. I can't focus. All right. When you start thinking like that, then that become action. Okay, you start doing exactly what you say. You start thinking what you thinking. Okay. The longer you be feeling in your feelings, the more you become away from the Lord. Luke 9:62. Right? And Yahweh said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. None. Okay? So how is it that you think you can take off a couple of weeks, couple of months, or whatever, and then you want to come back and say the Lord dealing with you? You stop during the week. Okay, you stop going on the highways. You stop reading. All right? You stop taking heed to the word. And then now you come back, just pop up, oh, the Lord dealing with you. All right? Don't work like that. Proverbs 24:32. Then I saw and considered it well and looked upon it and received instructions. What I was getting into? So when we, as brothers, okay, when we see brothers in this state, this is a lesson for us not to be like that. All right? Because we know a slothful, one who's lazy, we can see who lazy from who ain't lazy. And us who don't want to work would always not want to be like that. You say to ourselves, well, I don't want to be like that. Because why? We're seeing what it can do to one who's lazy. Okay? When he's lazy, he don't want to do nothing. When time to put a lesson together, okay? When time to put a lesson together, you ain't want to do no research. You ain't want to search the scriptures. You want to jot down precept, a whole list of precept, but to say, put notes to each precept to go into that and break it down? No. You just want to write down each precept, write them down, and then just bring it out and elaborate on it, whatever, and then move straight to the next. Some precept don't even elaborate on. Just read the precept and then take God for the next precept. That's lazy. Okay? Put in the work. That's what you're supposed to do if you call yourself a man of the Lord. Okay? Display the character of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You don't think Yahweh Shai put in work? Yahweh Shai put in work. All right? So let's get this Proverbs 24 and 32 in the GNT version. Okay? Let's hear what I say. Proverbs 24 and 32 in the GNT. Just look for it. They say, I look at this, thought about it, and learned a lesson from it. So when we see brothers in that state, well, look here, I don't want to be like that. I want to be hot for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? I want to be going. I want to be up that living water running. I don't want the water turned off. You know? I want to get up early, be time, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I don't want to have my arm full. All right? I don't want to be laying across the bed with a big bowl of noodles, watching videos. Okay? Same time writing down 1 or 2 precepts. All right? You want to get up early and you want to do your due diligence. If the Lord put in your spirit to say, give you a topic to go into, look here, go into the topic. Go into it, write it out. Okay, you come across the article, do like the brothers them do. Brother Cars one, go into the article, dissect the article, break it down, line it up, bring out the edification of it so that you will be built up. That's what we do. You don't want to just go and you just want to bring out the article and just read the article with no edification. Let us know what the article is saying. Okay? Measure the time. That's what you do. Measure the time. But hey, the slothful, the lazy, you don't know how to do that. Why you don't know how to do that? Because he's like lazy. He ain't gonna go in there. All right. You can say, man, daddy, come on, eat my lot. Okay. But what is your lot? All right. You can't call yourself a Hebrew Israelite and you don't know a piece of Hebrew. Okay. You can't call yourself a prophet and you don't know something about something. You got to know a little bit of everything. Though your lot may be going into articles, or your lot may be going into history, or your lot may be going into the Hebrew, you got to know a little bit of everything so that you would know how to break down an answer when somebody come up. Okay, Proverbs 24 and 32 in the GNT. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instructions. Okay. The voice translation, they say, I took a moment to take it all in. The scene taught me. So when we see things like that, like, yeah, I want to get that state. Okay, I don't want to be lazy like that brother. That brother just lazy, man. All right. When you try to, when every time when you call him, he's sleeping. Every time when time is for fellowship, you're late. Every time when time for camp, you're late. Anytime when they do anything, you're late. All right. That's not the character of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But yet you will say the Lord is an on-time power. But you ain't on time. You're supposed to be following him. Display the characteristics of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're supposed to see each other. We're supposed to see Yahushai within each brother. Okay? Not saying that you can't be late here and there. But don't make it a flicking habit late every day or every time. Try be before the time. All right? So just seeing this alone, we will learn from. Okay? About the Proverbs 24. Proverbs 24 and verse 33. It says, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So when, right? So when you take time out to sleep and be lazy and do shit, putting off from day to day, right? Cause when you put off from day to day, shit start to happen. Okay? Shit start to happen. All right? What the guys want posted here. James 4 and 14. What doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he had faith and have not works, can faith save him? If you don't get a work and faith can't save you. You're sleeping, laying down when you're saying you have faith. just like Christians. See how they'll wake up, laying down all day, you sleeping, 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 and yet you say you are free with no works. That's being slothful. Okay, all right. Proverbs 24 and 34. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. Bam! There goes your salvation. Gone. You're dead. Okay? Neglect lead to ruin. When you neglect this truth, when you neglect the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that'll lead to your ruin. Okay, when you won't be slothful, when you won't be lazy, when you won't do what you want to do, when you won't do it, that will lead to your ruin, boy. Okay? Let's shoot the Proverbs 19 and 15. All right? It reads, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep. You see that? Laziness put you in a deep sleep. And an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Laziness bring on deep sleep. Also, laziness creates a cycle of inactivity and need. Okay? You know somebody who's lazy but always needs something? Do you know somebody who's lazy and always needing something? All right? As we say sometimes, right? Go and wait for it. You want something? Go and wait for it. It's the same thing. You want the Spirit of the Lord deal with you? You got to go and put in work. You want to get out of that lazy state? You got to go and put in work. You ever see a big fat man? He wants to be slimmer, but he always laying down. If you want to be slimmer, what you got to do? You got to go and wake up. All right? Proverbs 20 and 4. The sluggard would not plow by the reason of cold. He ain't gonna wait because he's saying it's too cold. Right? Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. The scripture says, be instant in season and out season. Right? Going back to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 4. All right. 2 Timothy 4 and 2. Say, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. All right. Okay. So if you have this truth, this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding, you should not have it on the shelf. Okay. Because failure to work at the right time leads to having nothing when it's needed. When you are sluggard and catching hell, you call on the Lord to help you. What do you think the Lord will do? What do you think will happen? All right. See, a lazy person will always make up excuses after excuses just to avoid work. Just check out those who from to your job. Check them out. When they want work, when they want to do something, they always make up excuses. Okay, just like a dude my job. When he want work, what he does, because he talk a lot, he go to the supervisor, he bring up a sweet conversation first thing in the morning. Like we go to work for 7:30 and From 7:30 to 8, we be at the shop. Now he know it's time to go and work. Or he put out one conversation with the supervisor. That conversation lasts for 30 to 40 minutes. And he just talking. Normally he won't work. Sluggard, lazy. And surely he's flicking lazy bad. All right. So men in this troop, we ought not to be one who making up excuses not to do the work, who always sleeping, who always being late, who don't want to put in no time to do a lesson, who don't want to put in no time to do their researches. Okay, you got to put in time. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and Proverbs 22 and verse 13. Right? You see, the slothful man said, "There is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets." That's a making excuse. Right? There's a lion outside and he'll be eaten. Right? Like I said, they'll make up some far-fetched stories, even irrational excuses to avoid work. One would say, right, they had a flat tire. Okay, they had the cook. All right, the spirit not in me, or the spirit ain't being on me to do no videos. Okay, I can them know. I tell you, like, yeah, you have a fan when it's dead hot. What you do? You turn on the fan. So don't come to me with the spirit ain't being on you to do no video. Get in the spirit. The spirit is like you win. How do you get in the spirit? You pray. Ask the Lord let His Holy Spirit come upon you, give you a lesson. Open the book, start reading. The minute you start reading, a topic pop in. That's how you get in the spirit. So there's no excuse. The spirit ain't being on me to do no lesson. There's multiple topics you can go into. Topics like this, prophecies, articles, okay, all type, mentioning the times, okay, people the way they always talking, okay, listen to what they're saying, okay. Somebody could say something that could spark a topic in your head. Write it down for later. All right. Okay. So we should want to always be in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, being diligent in doing His work. Okay, as our campaign stated, of being staying from the beginning, pour more into the spirit. From the beginning of this year, pour more in the spirit. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. Right? Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. They say, he becometh poor that dealeth with his slack hand, but the hand of the diligent make it rich. That's you pouring more in it. When you pour more in the spirit, okay, you become more and more skillful. Okay, you will know how to build a lesson. You will know what to say, when to say, and how to say. Okay, you will become more wiser. All right. Let's get that in. Let's get that in the AMP version, Proverbs 10 and 4. The AMP. It says, "Poor is he who waits with a negligent and idle hand." You see that? One who's lazy, one who's slothful. Okay. But the hand of the diligent makes him rich. Okay. If you're working for yourself and you want to get some little bit of profit, all right, what you do, you go out early. You don't sleep, okay? And then when time to wake, when you get up, you may not feel like waking. So how you can take care of your family? You see? So it's the same thing with this wake of the Lord. Okay? You put in work in order to eat. All right? Point 5 say, he that gathereth in the summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. When time the wake you feel like sleeping. Right? When time the wake you sleeping. Point 5 in the AMP. He who gathers during summer and takes advantage of his opportunities is a son who acts wisely. He can act wisely because he has the Spirit of the Lord dealing with him. He's pouring more into the Spirit. He's doing his due diligence. He's seeking Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But he who sleeps during harvests and ignores the moment of opportunity is a son who acts shamefully. When time to put in when you flicking sleeping. Talking fool, but you sleeping like a baby. That's why you'll never grow. Because you keep saying you're a baby. You ain't gonna grow because you're always sleeping. All right? Let's go right back to Proverbs 6 and 8 with the ants. Okay? All right? The Proverbs 10 and 5. He that gathereth in the summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in the harvest is a son that causeth shame. And that shame goes back to what? Disgrace. Okay? That's what that shame goes back to. Disgraceful. And the Lord ain't looking for nobody who is disgraceful. The Lord ain't gonna choose nobody who is disgraceful. Diligence leads to provision and honor. Laziness leads to poverty. Because if you don't get out in time to go and work, and you're always late, one way or the other, you can get fired from that job. And if you're working for yourself and you go out late, you ain't gonna make nothing. All right? So it's the same thing with this work. If you don't put in no work, how should you eat? If you don't study, how would you get more understanding? If you ain't pouring more in the Spirit, how would you be wise? All right? Everything will be taken. Okay? Going back to Matthew 13 and 12. He that had, right, will be taken. Okay? And shame, right? Shame, like I say, go back to disgraceful. Let's go to Proverbs 12 and 24. Okay? They say, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Right? So when the chip come, you can take that. Right? When the chip come, the slothful, he can take that. Because why? He need to eat. Okay? He need to wait. But when time now to wait, he ain't gonna wait. Okay? Right? You can take that in order to get something to eat. All right? Hard work, okay, leads to authority, while laziness leads to servitude. You see that? Hard work leads to authority. Okay, and while laziness leads to servitude. Peter and the apostles, right? Asked Yahushua, what should we have therefore, seeing that we forsake all our families? What should we have then? Yahushua tell them what? You follow me in the regeneration will give you all of these things. You should judge the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel and everybody else. Because why you putting in the hard work now? You putting in your works now. You're trying to save you and your family. But the slothful he ain't doing that. He want to sleep. He want to be late to everything. He don't want to put in no research. He don't want to do his due diligence. All right. So like I say, what he's gonna do, he's gonna take that chip. Okay. So we cannot be lazy in this thing because the scripture says when we do everything, we do it as unto the Lord. Let's go to the Colossians, right? We can go to Colossians chapter 3 and 23. Okay. And it reads, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to Yahweh and not unto men. All right. So let's just get it. Okay. Let's just get it. All right. Continue in the works. Qam who doing the works. All right. So if you're gonna do something for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you got to do it right and not as a sleeper. Okay. Our work ethics is a reflection of our devotion to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. So if you're putting in the work, you letting your light so shine. You ain't lazy. You ain't slothful. Okay. You displaying the character of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Then that is a reflection, okay, of devotion to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. Let's get Hebrews 6 and 10, 10 to 12. They say, for the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. That's you putting in the work. So a slothful man, he can't be a man of the Most High because he ain't putting in no work. Right? And we desire that every one of you do the same, do show the same diligence to the full assurance of the hope unto the end. So we must do this thing until the end. We must work the work of him that sent us. Yahweh is to go ye out in the highways and compel them, right? Oh, okay. Verse 12 say, that ye be not slothful, that ye be not flicking lazy, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promise. Paul said, be ye followers of me as I am follower of a Mashiach Yahushua. We read all the works that Paul did. So we might be like him, as he be like Yahushua. He wasn't laying down all day sleeping. All right. When he go on a fast, he don't go and sleep all day and say, man, he on a fast. When did you give your time, your body and soul time to be afflicted? That ain't no fast. That's you being flicking a sluggard, slothful. That's you sleeping, a day sleeper. All right. So laziness is the fur with the faithful, patient perseverance that characterize the Most High's elect. Okay, all right. So you can't be lazy. All right, you can't be slothful in this thing. All right. So a slothful man cannot be a man of the Most High because he is self-deceived. He has no hope. He has no confidence. And confidence goes back to hope. You have no confidence in yourself, right? He thinks his excuses are wise, but they are not. Let's go to Proverbs 26 and 16. Okay, Proverbs 26 and 16. They say, "The sluggard that is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason." He thinks he's wise. Okay, so like I said, a man of God, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, a slothful man cannot be a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai because he's self-deceived. He's adverse to effort, meaning small tasks are too much. Okay, small tasks are too much. Proverbs 26 and 15. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. And that's a small task. Just for him to write down a lesson and write it out, not just writing a few precepts. That, all right, he can't do that. That's too much for him. Okay, that's too much for him to write that on paper. Okay, small tasks are too much. All right, and like I said, he thinks his excuses are wise, but they are not. Okay, he will be destroyed, right? Because his neglect ruins what he has. He neglect this truth. When you be lazy, so that ruin what you had, whatever you had, that ruin. Proverbs 24, 30 to 31. They say, I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man of void of understanding. That's the slothful man. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. All right, that's him taking his arm to plow. That's him with his arm always folded. If your hand always folded, you think, why your yard looking like that? Okay, if you always sleeping, your yard grew up, bush everywhere, weed everywhere. Okay, all right, okay. So slothful man cannot be a man of God, right? Because everything, all right, everything he has will get taken away. And that's him losing his salvation. All right, that's him losing his salvation. And like I say, at the end, he's gonna take that chip. He's gonna take that mark without a doubt. We can end off with this precept, Proverbs 6 and 11. They say, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. All right? That's exactly what's going to come. All right? That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to come quickly. All right? gonna come quickly. Let's get that same precept in a different translation, what I brought a little earlier. Okay, in the CEV version and the CRV and the ERV version, they say, suddenly everything is gone, as though it had been taken by an armed robber. The ERV version. But then you sleep and become poorer and poorer. Soon you will have nothing. It will be as if a thief came and stole everything you own. And we know, according to Matthew 13 and 12, Yahweh Shai said to him that had, Yahweh Shai said, Matthew 13 and 12, for whosoever had to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundant. But whosoever had not, from him shall be taken away, even that he had. All right. So yeah, man. Hey, Lord will, this lesson was edified, okay, and it served its purpose. All right. So I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to you, Akim, which is pushing truth in love and sincerity and charity with all humility. All right, Shalom and the Bible Paul. Okay, Shalom to the Akim. All right, I was tuning. Okay, Shalom to the Akwatium as well. All right, so that, Shalom.